Hi, so now I'm continuing at Invention 947 for the inventing record. I'm going to count to 43. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, JHV or something, yeah. So it's JHV. It's JHV. Okay, that's a V, that's a H, that's a J. JHV, yeah. So that would be for the physics embryology combo. What is it on here? Junction Johnson virus antivirals, Johnson antivirals, sponsorship through yeah, I would say it says Johnson antivirals. It says Junction hydro ventilation, so cell junction hydroventilation, blocking to prevent certain types of viruses getting through. So junction hydration ventilation blocking of cells. Okay. So junction hydration ventilation blocking of cells with certain types of filters that pass through just water molecule, not viral level particles. So they also don't get in things larger than a virus. They just get in amino acids. They don't get in viruses or certain type of junction hydration ventilation blockings that filter through even larger particles. Don't see the filter through particles large as a virus or above. So it reduces the amount of virus that passes through the system, as it blocks these junctions or pores in the cells that just pass through smaller particles than the viral particle. Okay. And this is done, this junction hydration ventilation blocking is some types of physics filters, carbon nanotube filters, he says. That it's both physics, it's nanophysics and medicine. And in embryology it blocks certain amounts of defective sperm cells. This junction hydration ventilation of defective sperm cell size, that's sperm cell sizes that are too big, for instance, or have an abnormal head to get through. So it filters through abnormal head size of sperm. So it lets through certain head sperm sizes. As a type of blocking in janin hydration volumes of fluid in which they mix the sperm and the ovums, as type of filtration devices that block large sperm cells or abnormal heads of sperm cell sizes to move forward and block them and act as a complement for them. As type of embryology, yeah. That's the embryology combination of the physics being a nanoparticle. It can be a nanoparticle, for instance, with certain types of designer carbon nanotubes. designer nanoparticles that are wafer designed, he says. So wafers to design nanoparticles at that level, not necessarily through scanning tunneling microscopes. For designing these wafer design medicines, nanoparticle medicines. For embryology, as I said, so that was a combination embryology and medicine physics. Yes, for as type of antiviral and as type of embryology filtration device for abnormal head sizes of sperm. So that would be the combination of medicine and that combination. So as just solo physics, I would say it's junction, hydration, volume. I would say it's junction, hydration, volume. It would be as a type of physics. It would be it gets into junctions between things, and the hydration volume that you want to pass through between certain junctions of chemical vats. So you start pre-selecting the volume you want to pass through on the basis of what kind of mixtures you want to get. At the junction, you put up certain checks that make sure just that amount passes, in case your backup system fails in putting in the right amount of volume. So at the junction, hydration volume checkers between two chemical vats, it starts checking the volume that passes at the junction. Also, not just the amount you just put in the vat that you're trying to mix. So you put in junction hydration volume checks as a system that makes sure, as a second check, you don't necessarily pass through too much of the chemical in vat 1 to vat 2 for mixing. So this saves your amount of fluid you're using as a backup check in case your staff messes up their work and puts in too much fluid to pass on from one vat to the other, ruining the end product. As a solo physics device, and as or for instance in I didn't say that. For instance, it prevents also nuclear meltdown. For instance, if you make sure you don't necessarily pass on too much radioactive materials from one vat to the other, where you have the nuclear reaction, so you don't get nuclear meltdown as a second check backup, just in case your staff is messing it up on purpose, trying to pass too much nuclear material. You get a Chernobyl, all of a sudden you prevent Chernobyl in that sense. If you want to do that, putting junction hydration check. Let's say I didn't necessarily think about, but I should discuss this sort of thing. But it seems that it prevents all sorts of places like also Bhopal. I think it was a large amount of chemical vat reactions that went wrong, that there was too much chemical pass through between these vats. So it's not just radioactive material, it's also just chemical reactions that explode and take out neighboring villages and towns. So you can prevent that too, through make sure that these vats don't pass on too much material. So that would be just the physics level of it. Just the medicine embryology level of it was junction hydration volume of let's say junction of the IV fluid, junction hydration volume of the IV fluid. You make sure that as a second check, you put a second checker that make sure that you don't pass on too much IV fluid, so it can't prevent you passing on too little, but it can have an alarm that says when you pass on too little IV fluid also. So you can check how much as a check between the junction of the IV volume of saline solution and vein. It alerts if you're passing on too little IV fluid, and it alerts if you're it prevents you passing on too much fluid, overhydrating the person, causing a dangerous reaction in them. So that's the embryology level. So that's 3. I think that's 3 there. Yeah. Again, I don't want to have too much video, so I will count that. Also, again, exponential, and etc. in production. In 0 to 500 exponentials in production and amount of production. That's it. So that would be, I think, 4, if not 6.